In this video, we go over how the housing allowance works in Korea. I'll go over some general information about how it's calculated, but for the most part, we're going to talk about how it relates to getting a home, how the realtors look at it, and especially how to maximize your savings from your overseas allowance while you're in Korea. Thanks to Western Real Estate for sponsoring this video. Their hope is that by watching this video, it'll help ease your concerns, answer some questions before you get here, and in the process, smooth your transition to Camp on Breeze. Let's start with the LES, what housing allowance you receive while you're here, and how it changes. Okay, let's look at the LES entitlements for a single captain living off post. On top of his base pay, he gets BAS, BAH, hazardous duty pay, and COLA. Now you can see the BAS remains relatively consistent across these 3 random months that we pulled. The COLA fluctuates by $160, and the BAH fluctuates by $135. The BAH changes based on the exchange rate, and the COLA changes based on a combination of basically the prices that you can get for goods and services outside of post. There's a survey that goes out, and they also factor in how much it costs the DFAC to buy food for soldiers on post. Combination of all those things causes changes in the amount of COLA that we're all paid if we're living off post. If you live on post, your COLA is less than if you live off of post. To calculate your housing allowance before you even get out here, Google Overseas Housing Allowance Calculator, and from there you can input your rank, your future duty location, and you can even input different months so you can see how it fluctuates from month to month based on your rank and location. Here's what a high month looks like, and here's what a low month looks like. And only look at that for those first 2 numbers. Now let's take a look at how the realtors look at our overseas housing allowance. This is the chart from Western Real Estate. The left column is the rank. The middle column is the housing allowance and utilities combined for that rank with no dependents, and the far right column is with dependents. Now what they do is they take the minimum possible amount that we will be paid in both utilities and our base housing allowance, and they use that to calculate, okay, this is what can be afforded at each rank. Now for the fun part, let's talk about how to save money. So a common question is, can I rent a place with the utilities included so that therefore I can pocket all of the utility money? So it doesn't work like that, and here's why. When a landlord wants to be able to rent their home to a military member, they have to get an inspection done. That inspection will determine the fair market value of that home. That fair market value to the landlord represents the minimum amount of money that they could get for renting their home. They have no incentive to then cover your utility costs on top of just getting the bare minimum for their home. That fair market value is the only price that the government will spend on a home for a military member. The landlord is always going to charge utilities on top of that fair market value. So there are 2 ways to save money on your overseas housing allowance while living off post. Number 1, Michael and Terry are great about this. They're biased towards showing you homes that are newer construction, which means they've got newer, more efficient utilities. So your utility bill is going to cost between $50 and about $140, depending on how much you run the air conditioning, etc. In an older home, you could be spending upwards of $800. Utility allowances are usually $500 to $800. So you're easily pocketing $400 every month just by getting a newer construction, more efficient home. The second way to save money is by managing the exchange rate. So the easiest way to, or an easy way to get Korean won from US dollars is to just go to an ATM and pull out money. However, that's where you're gonna get the worst exchange rate, and you're gonna have to have an ATM fee. Much better to go on post, right inside the walking gate is a US ATM. Pull your money out of there and then walk out the gate and go directly to the yellow storefront that says currency exchange. That's gonna be your best spot to get currency exchanged within this area. Now there's also a bank where if you sign up with that bank, they somehow give you a discounted exchange rate for a certain amount of money every month, and when you are paying rent every month, that pays dividends. Now I don't remember which bank that was, so if you know which one that is, please leave it in the comments. As soon as I figure out which bank that is, I will also leave it in the comments, so look for it there. I do have some slightly unrelated information for you, but before I get to that, I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope this video is useful for you. I hope this helps you keep some cash in your wallet. Please consider hitting the subscribe button if this was useful. Okay, and here's the slightly unrelated piece of information. I haven't fit this into another video yet, but Finding out whether or not you can live on post is a challenge because the housing office controls the occupancy rate. If the occupancy rate is 95% or you're forced to live on post, and that's 95% for either the SLQs or the family housing, whatever. Right now, if you're coming in as a family, there's not much family housing on post because the newest towers haven't been built yet. So if you're coming here as a family right about now, you're likely to have the opportunity to live off post. That said, to get the official occupancy rate, you've got to go to the housing office. And a lot of times, just walking in, asking for it, they don't really want to tell you because, I don't know, they don't want to tell you, they don't tell the realtors, they're the ones who control it. If you want to move off post, you can come back day after day after day to see if it changes. It will fluctuate over the course of a week, especially if it's right close to that 95% mark. And the other piece is if you live off post with a friend, if you're single or whatever, you can do that for like a month and then go back and figure out if the occupancy rate has decreased. That's all possible.